better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
That's all right, everyone. This is Tim with Online Big Lou, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. They mostly come at night. But it's not the night. It's not the daytime. It's the mid-afternoon. Doing a 3:30 launch of a video today. We will be going back to our regularly scheduled 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time releases starting next week. We just got a lot of stuff in the house. Plus, it's a holiday. Want to talk about the draft. Want to talk about the misdirection of the draft. Want to talk about the misconception of the draft. Want to talk about the draft magic, the draft mist, the draft cloud. Everything that is out there that people provide in reference to misinformation. Things that people say before draft day and they mean the exact opposite. Things that people look at directly. I have to laugh because, the Giants, of course, are going to be picking 5th and 7th. They got not Trayvon Walker. They have Kayvon Thibodeaux coming in for a visit, and there's speculation around his visit. There's doubts I saw hanging about over his visit with the Giants because of the fact that there could be issues with this gentleman. It's amazing that before this, there were no issues with the kid from Oregon. There were no problems. There was no one questioning his moxie or his ability to want to be on the field. There's always talk about that. He's in the mood player. He plays when he's in the mood. There was none of that. You never heard any of this coming out of Oregon. You really never did. But you're hearing this now. But then the question is it a draft dodge? Is it a smokescreen that certain teams are putting out there with the hopes that Kayvon falls down to them? I'm hoping the Giants, if they get a chance, could potentially take a shot at him. There is now even talk about the facts that the Lions, because I was speaking to someone in Detroit, there's talk that the Lions could potentially even take him at 2. But you're always hearing leading up to this, he's got a bad personality, he's got a bad this, he's got a bad that. We heard the same thing about Mr. Parsons when he was coming out. Heard the exact same thing. And even one of the coaches on the Giants staff who worked with Parsons at Penn State said that he had matured from his one season to his last season at Penn State because he had a child, he had everything else, and they saw a maturity level with him. But there was still the moniker that he was the bad guy, that he was the bad seed, even though he's a playmaker. And it's the same thing. Dan Campbell of the Lions came out and said, hey, listen, he's an explosive athlete. He's a playmaker. He's got great first step. I mean, he's something else. He's pretty special on tape. So it's kind of weird that all of a sudden these rumors are coming out. There has been the rumor, and I thought it was one of the silliest rumors that I've ever heard, that people are saying that Trayvon Walker could potentially go number 1 overall, that he is rocketing up the charts for certain teams, that he could potentially go to the Jacksonville Jaguars over Aiden Hutchinson. And I laugh. I sit there and I smile because I spoke to someone, and this again was a gentleman who's given us information before. It's been correct. He said the highest that he has seen him on certain teams' draft boards, and he would know, is in the 20s. I still got him listed at 32nd. Why? Because of the fact that a combine Mike Mamula does not make. A private workout Mike Mamula, that does not make. It does not always transition well to sitting there and playing on the field. Anyone could run around cones looking at you, Daniel Jones, and pretend that you are increasing your pocket awareness or increasing your speed or your lateral mobility. It's about not how you play or what you do in shorts in April that makes you a player. It's what you do in November and December, on Sunday, on game day. And that's what people, and that's why he was laughing when he was telling me that he saw those rumors that Trayvon could go as high as number 1 overall to Jacksonville. And he was like, if Jacksonville does not take Aiden Hutchinson, he said he would be shocked. He would be stupefied. He said it's one of the greatest draft misdirections that he has potentially seen in the last 20 years. And he's been a scout for over 30 plus years. And I look at my big prospect list just for the Giants. This is my big prospect list. I have Hutchinson, Thibodeaux, Hamilton, Stingley, Neal, Lloyd, Willis, Ickey, Gardner, Dean, That's my top 10. And I think there's a general consensus that is maybe not in that order, but that would be considered the top 10 in the draft. And I'm talking about the top 10 of positional value. I'm talking the top 10 of athletic ability per their position and where they rank against other positions. Because like I said, we've talked about positional value in the draft, I don't know, like a bazillion times. You don't take a safety at 5. One team in the last 11 years has taken a safety in the top 10, and that was going to be Jamal Adams to the Jets. So I can still see him go. I can still see Kyle Hamilton going there. But that my ranking is in reference just to talent, not where they're going to go in the draft. Because I wouldn't be shocked if Jordan Davis went in the top 10. I wouldn't be shocked if Sauce Gardner went 4 or 3. Wouldn't be shocked at all. I would, in some ways, not even be shocked if Andrew Booth Jr. out of Clemson went before Gardner. Because you don't know, because people tell you they're falling in love with someone and they're probably lying. There's not Gettleman, for all of his faults, and one of his biggest faults was he basically always told you what his draft philosophy was going to be. Doesn't really give you much of an opportunity to offer misdirection when you say that Saquon Barkley was touched by the hand of God and is going to be a gold jacket player. Well, it kind of tells me you're taking Saquon Barkley. So whenever you see these things come out, just take them with a grain of salt. When you see these things about the Giants in reference to who they're looking for, the Giants are going to have top 30 visits from everybody. They're not going to not have these guys come in. It's just going to be the way it is. And they're going to take a look at everyone. And at the end of the day, they have their own draft board. They have their own philosophy. They have their own idea what they want to achieve in this draft. And neither myself or anyone else on Twitter or YouTube or anyone else that tells you that they are going to be able to predict who the Giants should draft. That's why everyone does 50,000 mock drafts. I don't do a mock draft. I'm going to do one. And that's a Sunday before the draft. And I'm doing it and only people are going to be on is just going to be subscribers. So if you want to join in on that draft, you can just email me at tim@onlineBigBlue.com, tim@onlineBigBlue.com. And we will sit there and we're going to do one draft show. Why? Because it's just to make content or just to post something. That's why we don't do it. I'm a content creator, and I've said it a million times, not a mock draft maker. I'm a content creator. So we're going to do it one time. Now, like I said, I have seen some funny drafts from the Giants. There was a really good one that I'm going to go over next Sunday. There was a really good one. I think it was LJ that sent it to me, a subscriber sent me. That was a great draft. And he asked me what I thought of the draft, and I told him, and it was a realistic draft. And I told him if the top 4 picks were what the Giants did, they just had the draft of a century. And it wasn't anything out of whack. Because I've seen some of these crazy drafts that people do. It's like, no, you're making my head hurt. Please stop. Stop. Just stop. So, you know what? Take everything with a grain of salt. It's the silly season. In reference to Kayvon, I don't even know if he's going to be there for the Giants. I would think that at 5, he is a talent that you would need to take a look at. Like I said, I personally, and again, this is just my personal opinion, I'd be going Malik Willis if he was still available, because you know what? You can't put all your eggs in the quarterback basket for 2023 because multiple teams are gathering multiple first-round picks, so it doesn't mean you're going to be in the position anywhere near to pick a quarterback. And what if Daniel Jones bombs? Then you're going to push this franchise back. I said we would probably start being competitive in 2025. If you bomb out your quarterback and you don't find someone in free agency, you could be 2027 before you're making any type of noise with this team. But like I said, if they went someone like Kayvon Thibodeaux at 5 and Devin Lloyd at 7, I wouldn't care what they did the rest of the draft. They could draft for the rest of the picks as many offensive linemen as they want. Wouldn't care. Because in my mind, you fixed your defense. And I've said that a million times. And that's what this is all about. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue. We're bringing the best in New York Giants sports talk entertainment. And as always, if you could like, you subscribe. If you're ringing that bell, you know what it means. That'd be awesome.